Hello and welcome to the Mortgage Broker Builder, the CEO 1440 show, where we talk about all kinds of things mortgage related, real estate, and really just taking advantage of your 1,440 minutes every single day. Got a guest this week that's big into brand, their personal brand, Katie. And I want to say it wrong, but it's
Hive.
Shive, like beehive.
Yep.
For some reason, I want to put an R in her name that doesn't exist. But
Doesn't.
we're going to talk about how she's come up through the mortgage industry. She's worked at a lot of different places, done a lot of different things. And right now she's helping mortgage bankers, brokers, real estate people find their own voice and their own personal brand. If you don't have a personal brand, then you sound like everyone else. You end up using those weird things on ChatGPT and saying stuff like no fluff. So
Oh
you don't
my
want to sound like,
gosh, we're gonna be started.
well, it's what happens, right? Everybody, like ChatGPT, takes everything that's out there
We just
and
copy paste. Yeah.
curates it to just be right.
Yeah.
You sound vanilla. And
You're
that's
not
not what we're all
wrong.
about.
You're not wrong. It's just that you're right. That's how we talk. That's literally, yeah, exactly. So having a personal brand, especially in today's world of using I mean, it's a great tool and that it allows us to organize our ideas and helps write content faster and so many things. But when you don't really understand at the core of who you are and why you matter and how you're uniquely positioned to help your clients over XYZ person down the street, then your content in AI is going to sound exactly like everybody else with the M dashes and the prolific fluff. And this is where the magic happens, all the things we see.
And I didn't even know what an M dash was.
Oh,
I'm a knuckle dragger from northern Michigan.
yeah.
And right from the time I was wee little, like back when I was like, it was the
Mhm.
70s when I was in school. If you
Yeah.
had dyslexia or something, I have dyslexia pretty bad. And you were just told you were going to do construction and you weren't that smart. It wasn't like I didn't get a special reader. Nobody
Right.
really cared. Just hey, the military or you pound nails.
Yep.
And so English was never something that was ranked
Yeah.
super high in my world. And
The sad part is I love grammar. My mom, since I was a small kid, my mom would always grammatically correct me if the tone wasn't correct or what have you. So I've always had an affinity for words and structure. So I love a good M dash in the right context. It's powerful, but AI has ruined it. And now I will almost always eliminate an M dash unless it really is deserving of being in there.
wow, it even getting to adding an M dash was like a whole new thing into the world of John. So
Yeah.
if I became at the average, like that was good. But I think AI is super cool. I mean, all the things that it does is totally awesome and something I've talked about a lot. And we'll kind of get into where you came from and how you're here.
Sure.
But I've talked a long time about mortgage bankers, brokers, just people across the board that you want to build a portable personal brand.
Yep.
And it used to be that the name on the front of the jersey was more important than the name on the back. But
Hmm.
now today, I really feel that your name on the back of the jersey it's what people see first and foremost. And they
Hmm.
don't even know whether you work at Century 21 or Keller
Yes.
Williams or Real. They know the agent. And they
Yes.
don't know the mortgage person. Like I can rattle off a lot of mortgage people that
Hmm.
have very powerful brand names. I have no idea where they work. Oh,
Yep.
so and so works at Guaranteed Rate. They're
Yep.
not even called Guaranteed Rate anymore. They're just Rate.
Yep.
I don't even know the name of the companies, but you know
Yeah.
the people. So let's just take a quick walk down memory lane. How'd you get started? How long you been doing loans? What's got you even in this crazy space? Nobody grows up to become a mortgage person.
Yeah, somebody once told me early on, and they're like, anybody that's in the mortgage industry is missing one or two screws, like in their head. They're just a little off because you don't choose this industry, it chooses you. And I would agree with that. But my story is I started in the mortgage industry in 2017, 9 years now in the space. I was just finishing my master's program in business. And at the time previously to that, I'd been working at a fintech. So it was an up and coming trendy financial tech space. And like a lot of fintechs, it ended up not panning out the way we thought. I made the third round of layoffs. And all of a sudden, I was getting ready to graduate with a master's degree, just a little bit of student debt, but not a ton, thankfully, and no job. I was like, cool, this is the perfect time to be unemployed. But I had my husband at the time, not at the time, my husband still, but my husband was like, hey, don't go rush to just get a job. It's really important that you find a job that you love. And so I was really picky, and I met somebody named Shayla Gifford, which if you're in this industry, maybe you have heard of her. She's been a top producer for a really long time over at Guild. And she had done our loan previously, but my husband had always done the loans on our half. So I just never had gone into the office or anything. Anyways, long story short, Shayla and I bumped into each other serendipitously. And then we ended up meeting for coffee. And I was like, she's really cool. And I don't really care what she's doing for business. I think I want to work with her. So fast forward, I ended up working with 2 top producers on her team, but not for her directly. And they were like, look, you clearly know how to do marketing, but you know nothing about the mortgage industry. And it's pretty nuanced. So you need to get some experience. So I spent a year in their office. They left their doors open. I listened in on pre-approval meetings. I went to builder pitches with them, helped with open houses, events, like anything, any experience I could get. I just wanted to really understand the mortgage industry. And that was 6 years of doing that. I eventually ended up helping about 50 different loan officers oversee personal branding, copywriting, events, you name it, I probably touched it, graphic design, automation. And then I decided to go out and do my own thing. I just hit burnout, and that was about 2 years ago. And so now I'm helping clients one-to-one outside of being a traditional W-2 employee.
Got it. And I think it's interesting. I believe that most people, and this is the kind of something that with COVID and so many people working remote today, but you really learned the mortgage business through osmosis. And
Yes.
it was the late 90s, right? I got into it about 20 years before you. Well,
Yeah.
crazy enough to even think that far back, but you learned how to sell, right? There was some training, but you learned just because you heard the person 2 over saying something, or you saw a marketing piece that somebody else did, or you mean they put that on a shopping cart and somebody called them, I'm going to try a shopping cart, or I'm going to do a billboard or something different, radio ads. So
What's
really
wild is when I started, my background was in personal branding. Like that's really where my love for branding started, was in grad school. And so one of my projects that I had to do was personally brand myself and build a website and that whole strategy. So then when I came to the marketing space or the mortgage space, I was like, you guys need websites. We need to be blogging. We need to be on Twitter, like all of these things. And they were still like, no, we just want you to do an open house flyer. I'm like, who's doing flyers? This was back in 2017 before all of that was huge. So yeah, I learned literally by trial and error. They just threw me in the deep end, and I will forever be grateful for that, because I learned directly hands-on from some of the best loan officers that just showed me everything that they could.
And if you think back to that, like Gary Vee had just written that book.
Yeah, jab, jab, punch.
And it was a very novel concept back then to any of the stuff that social media that we now just think is so commonplace.
Yeah.
So you run your own company. I actually had a call earlier today with Mike Ferrasi. He told me I had to ask you about some things. Thing number one, and I know that you're getting into video now more, and it wasn't something you were super comfortable with. So like, you're the brand person telling people what to do, yet it's still something that
yes. And I think we need to talk about that for a second, because it's one of those things that I don't want to say it's a conviction, but I also very much hold myself accountable to the things that I'm coaching to. It's really easy to look at a list or to look at peers and colleagues in whatever space you're in and say, well, I should be doing X, Y, and Z. Hypothetically, we all should be doing a lot of things. But what separates the good from the great, obviously, is largely those who can execute and who have a strategy. And for me, especially with video, like if you follow me on Instagram or any of my channels, you're going to look at my videos and be like, they suck. They probably do. I'm awkward. I'm like, what is a good hook? Isn't easy for me. But shout out to Mike. I did take his cohort, and he just dropped some really good practical tips on improving. So that's been my 2026 is my goal of doing more video, even if they suck, even if they're awkward, it's like the only way you're going to get better is to do it. Yeah.
Wow. The interesting thing, right? So I started a YouTube channel in 2016. And it was.
You're like an expert by now.
I don't know. I didn't do it for a long time. I got some 2,000 subscribers or something like that. Like, by no means is it this massive thing. but it's enough now to where like it gets traction and you get likes. But you know, I tell my kids this too. Imagine if we just stopped doing things when we suck, we'd all still be bum shuffling around
Yeah.
because we all sucked at walking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Mike, when I first got started, I was using a video editor in like the Philippines or someplace. It was $30 a video. And so I signed up for a thing called Video Marketing Marvels. It was a course Mike taught. I was like a handful of people. He did a call once a week, but he taught me how to edit my own videos. I'm very good at it. I actually like it. I think it's fun to do.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that we all say that we should be doing it. And I always make jokes that like I would never work out with a fat personal trainer.
Yeah. Yep.
I want a doctor, and I won't go to a doctor that's not fit because how can
Right.
they, if they can't keep themselves healthy, like
Yep.
how are they going to? But
And that's why you'll never hear me say I'm a video coach. Anytime somebody's like, oh, I need you to video, I'm like, I got a person I will highly recommend. But as from an accountability standpoint, it's that very reason of, hey, that's something that I'm growing in as well. But yeah, I think we all have to talk our walk. Anybody can talk a good game, but like you need to walk what you're actually talking to.
and in today's world, it's easy to fake it.
Mm-hmm.
You can fake it, but you can only fake it for so long.
Well, and you can do AI avatar. Now there's just so many things too with faking it. You can fake your voice, you can fake your photos, you can fake your video. Quickly the human element is more and more what actually is your unique element.
I've been moving to less on the editing, right? Like a while back, I would have, like Descript would pull out the ums for me.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I leave them because AI is everybody doesn't
too
have that
polished. And
Yeah,
people
no,
tune out for that. I do the same thing. I will literally, like in my writing, typically I try to leave one typo. A lot of times if I'm on my phone, I genuinely might have one typo, but like the grammar person it's literally like nails on a chalkboard to find a typo and not correct it. But I honestly will, usually as an Easter egg of, I actually wrote this piece of content. Like it's not perfect. You can see the humanity in it.
Yeah, it's a wild world we live in where you're going through trying to show people that it's actually you.
Yeah, showing them your weakness or your imperfections is like you're going out of your way to show imperfections, and usually it's the opposite. Yeah. What else did Mike throw your way? Did he say anything else?
No, he just said he said ask her about the video accelerator.
Yep.
And then he also told me about something. We should probably get into like kind of what you do and building a brand and your brand playbook. But he also told me I have to at some point ask you about your song network strategy.
Always tease her at the end. You have to listen to the end of this because it is a really good strategy, actually.
Well, and I think it ties into I have a thing that sits right here on my desk. It's really beat up, but it says this. It says, you're not valuable because you say you are. You're valuable when others say they don't want to work with anyone else. So this has to do, so we're going to make it wait to the end. But as far as just having like an authentic personal brand and an actual strategy of what you're going about, I believe that's kind of like your specialty is helping somebody determine what their voice looks like, who they're communicating to, all that. And if you can put it in a song, like that's better yet. But I have found like that philosophy there of really adding value. You've got to get in front of people with something that's authentic.
Yeah.
And I found that the loan officers that I work with that can connect with their agents above and beyond, everybody can get a good faith estimate or whatever we call them these days, an LE, or they can pay for marketing, but not everybody can actually help the person on the other end grow their business.
Yeah.
And I think that it's because they don't know what they're trying to do. And so they're just trying to mimic everybody else. So you right now, as far as what I would say, your superpowers, you help people really figure out what their voice is, who they're talking to. Can you just walk me through? You go to your website, but what is it that people get like when they come and work with you?
Yeah.
And who do you deal with primarily? Is it mostly loan officers?
I work a lot with loan officers, some executives, some realtors. It's just a hodgepodge. I say mostly loan officers. That's not entirely by design, but it's really where a lot of my network and my relationships are. So much of what I do is relationship based. So of course, I don't want to make it sound like I'm exclusive. It's not exclusive to the industry, but that's what I know and what I've done. But really how I arrived at some of the specialties of what I am doing right now come from my own lived experience. Going back to when I was at Guild, I ghost wrote for several loan officers. And when you're ghostwriting for somebody, a good ghostwriter sounds so good that your audience thinks you're the real person that wrote it, not your ghostwriter. And the only way to do that is to know the person very well that you're writing about. So when I started using AI 2.5 years ago, I was also ghostwriting for some clients, and I would spend so much time redirecting the prompts. I would say, help me write a piece of content about XYZ. And it would come back, and like you're saying, it had prolific uses of M dashes, and it just sounded so like predictable. I'm like, this isn't their personality. They would never sound like this in real life. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, hey, if I'm going to treat AI like my personal ghostwriter, then I need to actually tell AI who I am, and I need to train it about me so that it can actually do the job that I'm requiring it to do. It would be no different than if I was the loan officer and said, hey, I hate doing social media. I want to go hire somebody to do it for me. That's kind of what started me into this journey of helping people really distill their voice and their brand. To walk you through a little bit about what I do, I currently right now do a brand builder exercise. So John, let's just use you as an example. Say you came to me and you wanted me to help you with your brand book. I would have a one-to-one interview with you. I'd ask you a ton of questions, like personal questions, business questions, with a goal that I can really understand who do you help? What is your story, like your business story? What's your brand story? And I'd want to understand, how do you talk? Like, what's your tone? Do you ever use curse words? Are you direct? Are you soft? What is your tone? How does that show up in your conversations and your content? And then looking at what are some core messages? You're in the mortgage space. What do you believe about homeownership? Should everybody buy? Should people rent? Like unpacking those things. So then outside of that conversation, then I go through and I have about a little over 100 different sections and touch points that I'm now building into a comprehensive brand book. And some people think brand book like, oh, it's fonts and logos and colors. And I'm not talking about like a design brand book. This is like your messaging. So that ends up being close to 200 pages. Like it's a very extensive document, but we're profiling in detail psychographics about your clients and your referral partners. And then I'm also looking at GEO, because do you know what GEO is? Are you familiar with that term? Okay. So GEO stands for generative engine optimization. It's a complement to search engine optimization, but it's a strategy of how AI, if I went to Perplexity or ChatGPT and I said, who is John Jerkovich and what does he do? That's going to produce a query, right? So we want to make sure that information coming back is accurate so people find you. So I put a lot of this into a brand book to get really nerdy. And then that is now a tool that you could go upload to any of your AI tools. Now, when you're going to write content, you can say, hey, ChatGPT, help me write a piece about X idea. But now reference my brand book, talk in my tone, talk to this actual client persona that I've singled out, and weave in my personal story and how I'm uniquely positioned to help this persona solve this problem. So it just takes your prompting like to 80-90%, so you're not having to start from scratch. And the kind of the nail in the coffin that made me realize like I was onto something is last fall, my ChatGPT account, I was updating it from the professional account to a business account, and it glitched when it did the transition. And I lost 2.5 years of training knowledge. Imagine if you opened your ChatGPT or your favorite AI tool today and all memory was just wiped. Like, you'd probably be bummed, right?
Oh, I would be real. I would not, because I'm right now
Okay.
in the midst of, and the only reason being is that, and I have my son was at Johns Hopkins and got into a pilot program of on ChatGPT. So he signed me up. I signed up for him. So
Okay.
I was always one step ahead. Like
Yeah.
I got to surf live on web before it
Wow.
was there. So like I was always ahead of other
Mhm,
people. So I've been
mhm.
using it for a really long time, but I recently decided that I want to also try Claude.
Yes.
And so I've been going through and trying to, and I've got 15 projects. Hey, if you're here, it must mean that what you're listening to you don't think sucks, which is awesome. But we also have a community called the Mortgage Broker Builder Community where every single day we try to share some sales techniques, some different skill things, maybe a system, something that you could implement in your business to do more business. My guarantee to you, if you join the group, you're not going to do any less business. So someplace in here, there will be a link for the Mortgage Broker Builder Community, completely free. Jump in there, check it out. If it sucks, you can always leave, but we look forward to seeing you in there. Inside of my ChatGPT with their own rules and
Yep.
speak like a fifth grader and you do
Yep.
this inside of this one. And so I've got a lot. But right now, today, I went through and I've been extracting all that out to try and put it into Claude. So I wouldn't be totally bummed. But had
Yeah.
I not been going through that exercise of, I guess I'm building my own brand book,
Yeah.
that would have been the most devastating thing in the world because you're back to square one. And
Because you're relying, yeah, most people rely on their use history because AI does learn more about you over time. And that's how it's designed to do it. But so I lost 2.5 years of like all my stuff. And again, I was on Claude minimally and I was on Gemini minimally. But I had built all my business like frames on ChatGPT, all my like my automations and things that I've sold. So I was like hosed. I spent 2 days crying. I was really upset. But here's the thing: I took my brand book. I refined it a little bit, but I took my brand book. I opened a brand new ChatGPT account with no history, and I uploaded my brand book to ChatGPT. I re-uploaded it to Claude and to a new Gemini account because I was like, if I have to start from ground zero, I might as well across the board do this and see it, treat myself as a test case. And I was back to writing content as good within about a week as if I had that 2.5 year account. And the difference is because now I brought this whole manual and I said, ChatGPT, here is everything you need to know about me. And I dictated it. It wasn't like 2.5 years of clunky prompts to train it to that. That to me was a good indicator of, hey, you can now be platform agnostic. You could have your 15 folders in ChatGPT, take your brand book, and there's some strategy of, hey, if you have a podcast or if you have different kind of subs of your core brand, you can do some mini short sheets on that and add that in and rebuild any of your projects on the other platforms. And it at least will have your brain and your tone and your writing style. It's not going to have the actual chat history itself, but it will have the memory at least.
It's probably better. Mine gets confused sometimes because it was
Yep.
one day I was playing this role and the next day I was
Yes.
doing this and my son used it for a little while. So
Yes.
sometimes it thinks I'm Jack instead of John. And so it's a little bit clunky.
Yeah.
That's why I literally have to go inside of.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't work. I have to go inside of a project to actually have it work. Otherwise it pulls.
Yeah, because that project is sterile to the outside environment.
Correct.
Yeah, and I have found like now with Gemini, upgraded to a Gemini workspace, and some of that's security reasons. So if you're under the workspace, it's I don't know the technical vernacular exactly, but it's the enterprise level of security, and so it doesn't share any of your chats and stuff where a normal Gemini account does. That's my understanding. So with that, you get 2 seats. So I have a personal seat and then I have a business seat. So if I'm writing any content or research or anything for my clients, I keep it in one. So it's like I have 2 sandboxes in my different, same with Claude and Gemini, you can do that. But yeah, so that's what the brand book is. And so it is 2-part. One is a training document for your AI tools that is really helpful. And in that, I also, when we talk about like your brand voice, some of that's, hey, never say M dashes. And like, here's a list of words, like here's some taglines that are unique to what I say, or here are things, jargon that you should never say. And then the second part, it really is, I've had a lot of clients tell me, this feels like therapy. Like you're asking me questions, like I'm going way back into my journey. I've had a couple clients like cry during our interview because they're like, I've just never taken the time to recount how far I've grown or like how I overcame in this environment. And so it's cool because it helps provide clarity in who you are. And like when we say, hey, all realtors are created equal or a rate is a rate, I'm not going to whatever company just because of that. Typically, I'm coming because of the name on the back of the jersey,
Yeah.
who happens to be hanging their license at the logo on the front of the jersey.
Yeah, I think that people way underestimate how powerful something like this could be. As you get started, you're just trying to, the gurus all say, just post all the time, be consistent, but which is great. But if the
Yeah.
message doesn't make any sense, I sometimes believe that every time you put something out into the ecosystem, it's not neutral. It's either making somebody better or worse.
Yeah,
There is
100%.
no ground zero.
Yeah.
If you do a piece of content, I used to post every single day.
Mhm.
Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. Someone may have liked it.
Yeah.
I now post less.
Yes.
I post inside of a personal community every day, but it's
Mhm.
different things, right? Market Monday, I post something about the market.
Yeah.
And
And that's a different context inside of a personal community. That's a totally different context than I'm just going to throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks on Instagram or LinkedIn. And I have noticed like good content creators are very much doing the same thing. They're not posting every day, but when they are posting, it's very concentrated to, is this clear? Is this aligned with my message? Does this actually add value? So they're posting maybe less, but people are actually reading it because the feeds are just full right now of content. It's actually really annoying to go in and look at certain things because you're like, did you have an original thought or did you just need to check a box on your calendar saying that you needed to post today?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think if you're posting zero and you're trying to have a personal brand, understand the 50 people that see you that graduated with you in high school
Yeah.
probably aren't going to see whoever's post.
Yeah.
So it's original to them. By
Mhm.
the same token, put your own spin on it.
Yes.
Use your own words. I do everything I start as video. So I just like to open up
Okay.
so for me, that's more comfortable.
Yep.
I've never been the like written word part.
Yeah.
So for me, it was always like start with a video, just talk at it for 5 minutes,
Yep.
then go through, take the transcript, clean it up, and then get my thoughts condensed down to what would be a minute and a half from my
Mhm.
8-minute rant.
Yep.
And then go in and re-record that as like the real video, then pull the transcript, do the post. Like everything for me starts as a
Yes.
video and then goes downward, and then the video always gets posted. But the same concept, it's I think relatively consistent.
Do you know why do you know why I would tell you that that's the better practice to do than the other way around? Because your spoken word is your authentic voice. You can come in with an idea, like 3 reasons why you should move to Michigan, right? And how many other people might have that same high level idea. But if you went on to your video and you talked for 5 minutes about certain parts of the state or seasons or in your own phrase, now that isn't the exact same content or the same kind of reverse prompt. So it's way more unique, and that is your own spin on it.
Yeah, I do a thing called dude approved homes, and it's really mostly I'm trying to fall into. If you look at first time home buyers, a very
Uh-huh.
small fraction of them today,
Uh-huh.
like single women way outpace single men. Single men
Yep.
only make up like 15%. So there's it's a poor neglected single men. Like I'm into the complete opposite of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about them. But right, I try to speak to that thing there, right? Hey, go out, find the fixer upper. Nobody else wants that. Go out, do the things that make you. But it starts as like that. I have a brand book there inside of that dude approved what I'm looking for.
Yep. Yep.
Acreage, even Montana, Wyoming.
Montana. Yeah,
Okay.
Montana.
So like you're out there with dudes that can appreciate like a place to shoot their bow and arrow,
Yes.
gun ranges, being
Yep.
able to pee in your own backyard without the neighbor seeing you. Those are things that
Yes.
make something dude approved.
Yep.
And it may not resonate with somebody living in
California.
where the salsa was from New York City. I don't remember what one it was, but yeah. So you have to have an authentic brand. And I want to get into this song thing, but so let's just say I was somebody like you said you deal with loan officers, thought leaders, those kind of things. Let's say somebody's out there and they inside of their goals for 2026 is to I want to start posting more, I want to create a brand, those kind of things. How's that process work with you? Do they go and book a calendar appointment? You sit
Yeah.
down with them?
Yeah.
What does that look like beginning to end? And how quickly could I get from sounding vanilla like everyone else to like having my own voice?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a couple different ways to find me. You can go on LinkedIn, my website, what have you. And I would say, hey, let's hop on a discovery call so I can really understand what are your goals, what are your needs. And some of that looks too just AI fluency. Like how much are you using AI? And some of the things are who's helping you with content, or are you doing it yourself? So you get an idea of what the width and breadth are of what you need. But then we would do the brand book. I typically do a 2-week turn time. So from when I record our conversation to me building out their brand book. And then I have another meeting with them. We review the brand book, look at all of the different sections, make sure there's no huge edits that are needed. And then I provide a couple custom GPTs. Do you use custom assistants at all? Custom AI tools? Have you built any?
What do you mean?
So if you go into ChatGPT, I mean, it's the concept of a project, but you can go in and actually create a custom assistant. So that would be like, I have a specific assistant just for writing YouTube captions or just for doing whatever. So we determine a couple assistants that they might need, and then I specify that with their brand book and build that out for them. And then we would go over if they want more support after that, then that would look like a coaching package or something. But the goal is let's get some foundation in what your brand is. And then I would just tell you, okay, here's a recommended posting strategy. And like I said, after you have the brand foundation, then it's choose your own adventure in terms of, do you need help with the brand strategy? I'm not currently doing any like ghostwriting, like taking on retainer clients, but could refer out if they're wanting somebody to own and do all of their content for them.
Yeah, and I do have some of those, right, little assistants built out where you do, I don't know what they're called, like it's that top section, right? It goes right
Yeah.
down, and there's their mortgage broker builder assistant. There's
Yep.
my little things, and then it's my projects,
Yep.
and then it's a whole bunch of just noise.
Yeah, you're just your
I
chat
have no
history.
idea what they're called.
Yeah, so in ChatGPT, they're called GPTs. In Gemini, they're called a gem, and in Claude, they're a project. Those, I just assume it's common knowledge, but I'm not sure that it is. Learning to create custom assistants outside of the brand book was the second greatest like accelerator in my use of writing copy and getting AI to be really a co-writer for me, because you're training it on a specific task versus opening up a general chat box and you're 100% driving the prompt as opposed to it having very specific instructions and knowledge files.
Would I be better off where I'm doing that right now inside a project? So I have the mortgage broker bills, a company I work with called Zoom Cons. I have all of these projects.
Yep.
And then I go into the project, and then
Okay.
I'm going in there to write a recap of something.
Yep.
Would I be better off creating those GPTs?
So it depends.
Inside of the project?
And I've gone back and forth with GPT, just trying to figure out the best framework, because it's top down or bottom up kind of framework is how I would view that. So a GPT or a custom assistant is very specifically trained. So it would be like the way that they perform very well. So say, for example, you want something to help you specifically with YouTube. Maybe it's to give me an optimized title and a description writer, for example. Now, that's one aspect. Now, give me an example of a project. Do you have a project that's like just for your podcast or just for a certain topic or thing?
So I have like clients that I bring on. I'll use one. It's a company called Zoom Casa.
Yep.
An iBuyer. They do a lot of really cool things.
Okay.
And I have a project inside of there that's just their stuff. So I might take something that I do for the mortgage broker.
Yes, and then you bring it over.
And it was a video that I recorded about GDP or whatever. That's very
sure.
And I now want to move it over and have it be more realtor centric.
Yep.
I will move it into that project and have it make the tweaks.
Do you add files, like knowledge files inside your projects?
I have some generic ones, probably 8 to 10 that are just like, I like to sell using ARPs and ARCs, which is knowledge response, or I like to solve problems through a thing I call an OPA, where you have an outcome, a purpose, and then the action steps. So I upload those into each of those, so it pulls in that. I have no idea if to me, it seems a little bit like, if you've ever had one of those like shrimp boils. where you
Yeah.
just throw a bunch of stuff in a pot and like just
Yeah.
things come out.
Like the
I'm kind of,
chipino, or yeah, it's a little bit of a hodgepodge.
it's a potluck at the KFC hall at a Catholic church on a
Yes.
Saturday night, and
Yeah. So that's a great analogy of how you would do it. So a project is, I will organize projects like you're saying, where it's, hey, if this is a specific client and I go write something, I'll throw stuff in there so it just adds for organization and a little bit of context. But that project isn't designed to just write a specific thing. So I will create a specific custom assistant for writing carousels or long form blog content or whatever. That is very specific to, hey, you just write long form blog content. Here is the framework, how it performs. I'll put the brand book on it. So now that's like a very trained and specific assistant. I'll write that content, then I'll go put the output in the project. But I don't treat the project, I don't rely on the project knowledge alone to deliver the sole output. I usually add it in after.
I run into problems sometimes where, let's say I take my transcript, I get done with a one-on-one meeting, I like to give a recap after.
Yeah.
And I'll go to load the transcript in, it will pull every transcript that's ever come through like Fathom. So
Yeah.
now it's just, and I have to go in and I almost have to go back to basic, like just read the transcript
Yes.
and then break it down. So I think that's probably something I probably can use that and
Yeah.
be helpful for me.
Yeah. Projects are good. Custom assistants are really good if you're wanting to do a very specified task and you train it correctly. And then projects will help organize it. Or if you're like, hey, I just want to generally synthesize some organization. Here's a brain dump. I want you to access everything from the project in there as well. It's more of a generalist than, it's certainly not acting as a specialist.
Got it. Okay. That's good stuff. Claude or GPT, do you have a favorite personally?
Oh, 100%. Yes, it's Claude. I never want to say never. I almost never write any content anymore on ChatGPT.
Interesting. That's why I'm going into Claude. I've heard so many people say for email writing, for any kind of writing, Claude is the way to go. So
it sounds more, and again, they're always changing, which is why I have a strong value to be platform agnostic, meaning for a big period of time, I was like all in on ChatGPT. I started on Claude, actually went over to ChatGPT just because the functionalities with ChatGPT were really sticky and made it easy to just do so much in one tool. And then obviously my ChatGPT glitching, I was salty at best from that. But it really forced me out of a comfort zone of, hey, you need to know all of the platforms because it's changing so quickly. But for anything content, creative, copywriting, I want to really sound like a real person, Claude all day long. And Claude is doing something where they have something called Claude Skills now, and that makes it more portable. So instead, like you used to have a custom assistant in GPT that was trained on one thing, but you had to go into that specific task just to activate that one assistant. Now Claude's doing something called a skill where it's portable across all of the Claude ecosystem. So say, for example, I wanted to open up a general chat. I took your video and said, okay, here is John's video. Now write one email, now write one social media post, now write a LinkedIn post. I could have a skill that's specialized for each of those, but I could activate those skills all in one chat versus having to go into individual assistants and activate isolated chats. So it's impossible to keep up with everything, but to answer your question, Claude, all day long.
I have not been in there much. It's on my like to-do list here.
Yeah.
Do you remember, and maybe this is still a thing, like feng shui, when people would have somebody come in their house and make it shabby chic or whatever?
My husband's Chinese, so as much as I thought it was just a design slogan, he's like, no, it's actually like feng shui is real, and it's culturally, it's very real.
It's what you're doing, right? Like it's your personal brand is like your feng shui. There's something there that, and if it's important to do in your house to where all of the stuff matches.
Yep.
Like my wife is big into making sure that our house, like the chairs match the same decor as the next thing.
Yeah.
I think that we're really chunky. We've got a square modern sofa with
Yeah.
sitting next to a antique something is the
Yeah.
way most people organize their stuff. So
Yeah.
what you're doing there with the brand books is getting it to where your whole house looks 18th century, whatever, or whatever
Yes.
your feng shui
Well,
is.
yeah, it's consistent, so it's okay. Let's get like your brand story and your foundation, right?
Hey, you're still here, which means that the stuff we're talking about is of interest to you, or you're looking at growing your business. You're looking maybe at doing more, or looking for new, fresh ideas. And if that's part of your game plan, if you're open minded and you want to try new things, we have a community called the Mortgage Broker Builder Community, where every single day we drop different, whether it be sales techniques, tactics, systems, different things that you can implement into your business to potentially do more. And my guarantee is if you join the community, you're not going to do any less business as a result of it. Someplace here on this page, there will be a link for the Mortgage Broker Builder Community. We look forward to seeing you in there, and welcome. Let's grow together.
You get that into one document. You personally get clarity on that. You take that in one document. Now you're going to go over to Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT, and you're going to set it up consistently. Then when you start testing out the different platforms, you can see the strengths of the platform, but it's all through a single source of truth, which is your brand book, and it's organized, consistent, so that whatever output you're using is pulling from the same piece of information.
Something that we've been trying to do more and more, right? Like actually when you don't just post to Instagram, actually also put a blog on your website, because the blog is going to work with
the LLM or GEO.
Holistic approach across the board. So tell me, so again, anybody that's still here, we haven't bored you to death, which is good. Your brand playbook, just having these things defined, I think, I don't even know what it costs to do any of this, but it's probably well worth your time as far as the amount of money you'll make over the next 12 months. Is probably far greater than anything that this will cost. And I have no idea what Katie even charges. But whatever it is, to get clarity on all those things, I've seen a lot of loan officers, brokers, owners, people that have no clue what that looks like. And it's really hard to move forward without a game plan of where you're trying to go. And I have a degree in exercise physiology. I was a personal trainer. You couldn't have somebody come to the gym that says, I want to get fit, I want to get ripped and super strong at the same time. Because if I want to bulk up, I got to bulk. I can't be cutting. So I think that having what you do is super important to get that clarity to grow your business off of.
Most people, they start with posting, but they don't have a strategy and they don't have their brand defined. So I always tell people, hey, before you start getting really consistent and putting things out there, let's really determine who are you trying to speak to, and why should they listen to you? What is important? Now, once you can define those elements of your brand foundation, now let's look at your strategy, because not everybody needs to be on TikTok or all of these platforms. So what are your marketing goals and your business needs that's going to drive revenue back? Now, once we've defined that, now you go create the content, which should be much easier because we've created the foundation, we've established the strategy. Now the content is just the playbook, but it's executing off of doing the foundational work first. So
a lot of people have the people that just post. I see this all the time. If you have problems with not knowing what your call to action is at the end of your post, it's because you don't know what your message is. And I see it all the time. People post some great thing on Instagram about 5 key steps to home ownership, but there's nothing on the tail end. And so all they did is gave somebody the idea, and then they Google it and they find somebody else that had a good call to action. And you gave them the idea, they shopped and went someplace else. So again, having clarity around this whole thing is super important. So you need a personal brand. So tell me about this. I want to know a little bit about this song strategy. We're like going on, I don't know, 46 minutes. I try to keep these under an hour. So
I'll be quick.
I heard all about your song thing. I think it's great because I'm always looking at ways to catch somebody's attention. And get a little hook in them. So tell me about your song strategy.
So I also accidentally stumbled into this. I had a client that had a really outside of mortgage, a very specific audience and much more emotional, with specifically around mothers who have lost a child. So obviously it's a totally different audience, a different message completely. Anyways, we were working on a project and I was like, what if we put that into a song? So long story short, I threw an idea and into a song, AI song generator, and it was like amazing for her brand. What I do, I call it serenade your songs, but really it's if I have a call, say I have a call with you or something, what I like to do is I'll take just a brain dump. I'll go into any of my AI tools and I'll just do a voice text into a new chat and I'll just brain dump. Hey, I just got off a call with John Jerkovich. We talked about his podcast and this and that. And I'll throw in some things that I know personally about them. And I'll say, help me write a song about this person. And then AI will literally give me the lyrics. I massage that till I feel like it's cool. Then I copy and paste those lyrics into an AI songwriter. And it in under 60 seconds, it will give you 2 versions of that song. And you can specify like the genre. If I want it to be heavy metal or country or instrumental or whatever. And then you can customize it. So I like to put like their headshot or a photo of them. You can edit the language or the lyrics that are displayed. And then you just send them a link. So then I'll usually send them a text and just say, hey, I was so stoked on our call today. I wanted to make you something. I hope this puts a smile on your face. So it's just a small little thing to disrupt the pattern. Because a lot of times we'll send a text or maybe we'll send a voice text, but now that's so predictable and common. So if somebody literally, John, if I sent you a text with a customized song, would that disrupt the break for you? Of, oh, this is different.
100%. Anything that's outside of the norm is what you have to stand out to.
You have to. So it's been cool. You could do it literally it's a little bit weird. I have found if you have no context with a person, it's a little bit weird. Like I wouldn't go find a realtor, the top realtor in your community and go write them a song and be like, will you have coffee with me? Maybe that would work. But if they've never talked with you, it's a little bit weird to be like, oh, how did you get that information? So much is public. But I always like to, if I've had one touch point with them, and part of it for me is I just want people to feel like there's a connection to me, right? Like I want somebody to feel like, hey, when I got off the call with you, I was present on the call. I listened to what we talked about and I genuinely care. And I hope this puts a smile on your face. And so I will literally, I can make songs in between stoplights. I'm not joking. It's that easy. I have made songs in between stoplights. Some fun ways I've done it for my kids, for birthdays. I did one song for my husband's anniversary. The most off the wall I've ever done is I was hanging out with some friends and their doctors, and one of them works in a colonoscopy center. And they were like, oh, your AI songs are so good. Can you write a song about a colonoscopy? And I was like, hold my beer. I didn't have a beer, but it was, and I made a song for them about colonoscopies. I'm not joking you, John. They took it to their hospital leadership. He works for a really remote hospital in the bush in Alaska. Like you can only access it by plane. And the hospital loved it so much, they ran it as a public service announcement on the radio or like on social media to help people book colon screenings to prevent colonoscopy, off of an AI song that we made in Glacier National Park on a family vacation. So
I think that it's genius, right? You have to do things that stand out apart.
Yeah.
And in today's world, the more bold you can be, probably the better.
Yeah.
Usually I'm in my 50s, so we were taught to be reserved and not right? Like the whole blowing of, right? Maybe it is going to somebody that you've never met and doing a song. We encourage people to do a lot of video with status updates. So instead of sending somebody their pre-approval, send them, hey, it was great to talk to you, right? An actual video. Here's your pre-approval, walking them through it in video, a shared screen and sending it. Those were so well received.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and make some songs.
Here's one other breadcrumb. Have you done anything with Notebook LM?
I have not. I hear all about it. I'm just not, I'm not a Google guy.
Yeah.
So I'm a Microsoft guy. And I think that Notebook LM is inside of the Google world.
You can get an account for free. And there's some really cool things that you can do with Notebook LM too with, like, for example, I have taken people's reviews online, literally just highlighted their Google reviews. So like any mortgage brokers listening, you can go to, if there's an agent that you're working with, go to their Google profile or experience.com, highlight their reviews, go throw that into Notebook LM. You can have a free account and then ask it to generate a podcast episode or a video, or there's a lot of different learning tools that it can produce. And it's really cool, some of the tools that you can use to take back to your realtor partners for training. And it's all based off of their reviews.
LM. Okay, I got lots of stuff. This has been great. I truly appreciate it. Right now, it's whoever, there's so many tools.
Yeah.
It's just being able to take the tools and learn. And it's always been, I think Alex Hermosi says, for as long as we go back, it's been man with tool.
Mm-hmm.
We just have better tools today, but
Yeah.
we're not being replaced. You need to understand how to use the tools.
Yes. Yep.
And embrace these things, figure out how to use them, find help wherever you can.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm trying to just take in as much information and use it as best as possible. There will be people way better. I just don't want to be the worst at it.
And that's exactly it. We can all get overwhelmed. And I think there's so much intensity in the narrative is you're getting left behind and AI is going to take your job. Hey, if you're a human and you're still really good at what you do, AI is not replacing you. Certainly not today. But I think we don't have an excuse anymore to just dabble in AI. I think we're beyond that now, and we have to at least be embracing it. So I always like to encourage people, don't be overwhelmed about trying to be an expert. Try to do something every single day that is just testing your fluency, and you'll just learn a little bit every day. You'll be fine.
Yeah, we were on spring break with my mother-in-law and a bunch of people. We're down in Florida, and my son, he's 9, and we will take pictures of people, and then we go into Gronk and you upload it and it turns it into a video.
Yeah.
And so he's the one writing the captions, and they were blown away. How does this even exist? Almost as if they'd never seen an AI video. And
right.
To us, it's AI videos now. It's past. It's
no
longer cool. But
yeah.
Of the people that were there, they were blown away that he was able to get a chicken to attack a kid at a table, and that he made some.
And he's
9. And he's 9, but he takes the picture, he puts it, He opens Gronk, and he goes in there and he just does it. But most people, I don't even think, have any idea of even how these things exist. They don't even know that it's AI.
Yep. It's pretty wild.
This has been super cool. Any things you're super excited about?
There's so many tools that are changing all the time. I'm really excited to see the tools that are coming. It is helping people be more creative. But I'm getting more excited to be back in human, toe to toe with people in rooms. I'm almost going opposite. I'm very much embracing all in on AI, but I am very much excited to be back in person with doing events and things. Cause I think sometimes we can go so far off this way. It's, hey, go get in rooms with people. That never let AI or your digital content replace being in real life with people and showing up and having value and just being a human.
Yeah, the pendulum will always swing, right? If you've been in mortgage,
it's the shiny penny today, right now, the shiny penny is AI, but it doesn't replace you being connecting and building and having conversations.
Well, it's the connections that matter. For a long part of my career, I was really good at mortgage knowledge, understood all the moving parts. That's a dime a dozen today. It doesn't matter. Knowing Fannie Mae guidelines doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But being able to talk to somebody about them and share how you apply it and those kind of things, it still matters. So we all have a spot. You just have to continue to carve out yours. And what it was 6 years ago may not be today, but there's one out there for you.
Yeah.
Anybody that's here, if you want to help with your personal brand, reach out to Katie. She'd love to help. We will include links down here someplace for her website, but it's just
KatieShive.com.
name.com.
Yep.
Instagram, all those places.
Yep. Instagram and LinkedIn.
I thank you very much. I'm going to hit stop on here. Don't leave, though. We got to make sure that it uploads. Anybody that's in here, if you're not part of the Mortgage Broker Builder community, jump in there. It's free. We talk about stuff like this all the time. Check out Katie, any of those kind of things. Thank you all, and have a fantastic day.